And ladies and gentlemen, I consider myself a frequent flyer. Every year, I fly at least 20,000 miles by plane, which earned me the silver status for an airline. However, due to the COVID crisis, I have not flown at all this year. In fact, the total amount of passengers screened by TSA on April 7th fell below 100,000 people for the first time. Compared to previous years, there is a 95% decrease in passengers traveling by air. And this is certainly not a good outlook for the airline industry because with fewer passengers, the airlines make less money. For Delta Airlines alone, they've lost $5.7 billion in the second quarter of 2020. Keep in mind that in the same quarter of last year, they earned a revenue of $12 billion. Reasonably, some airlines went bankrupt during the pandemic. A total of 23 airlines, including two United States-based Miami Air International and Compass Airlines, have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy or ceased operations. It is almost beyond doubt that how we fly will be different after the crisis. So when we think about future vision in aviation, we will see industry-wide changes being made and understand what these mean for us passengers, flight crew, even air traffic controllers. Some of the changes are the ones that we can quote-unquote vision, which impact regular travelers like you and me, while some changes are more systematic and behind the scenes that affect mostly only airlines and employees. The most significant change, I imagine, is planes will be cleaner. In the eyes of public health, planes are disasters. All of us here have read some articles about how dirty blankets get or how much bacteria is on your tray table. Well, not anymore. All major US airlines have adopted a much stricter cleaning procedure. As an example, United Airlines have rolled out a new cleaning method named Clean Plus, where various surfaces that can be touched are thoroughly wiped and cleaned with high-grade disinfectant after each flight. The plane will be immediately taken out of service and sent for full decontamination process if a passenger on board exhibits COVID symptoms. Other airlines use similar cleaning practices as United. The sanitation of all aircraft we fly is ensured with these procedures in place. Another change, which in my opinion, a very notable change as well, is the plane will be less crowded and the passengers will have more privacy. Think about this. In a Boeing 737, which, by the way, is the most prevalent passenger jet ever produced, 150 people cram into nearly 1,000 square feet of space. That averages to 7 square feet per person. In such crowded area, it is onerous to prevent virus or diseases from spreading. The short-term solution is let fewer people fly. Alaska, American, and Delta Airlines have blocked off all middle seats in their planes to allow for better distancing. However, the airlines cannot block off seats forever. A possible long-term solution is to redesign the seats completely. Just in April, a seating manufacturer released a new design. The aisle and window seats are facing forward, while the middle seats is facing back. With wraparound clear shield barriers separating the seats, this design named Janus blocks the propagation of the virus while allowing the passengers to have their personal space. Another seating company took a different approach by expanding the seat width and adding a virus-blocking shield in between seats. Since this seating type utilizes more space, it is more likely to be adopted than Janus. It is still essential for travelers like us to understand that in an enclosed space, such as the plane cabin, we need to be careful coming in contact with too many people. How passengers fly won't be the only thing that will change. Since flight crews of most airlines are based in a hierarchy system, some pilots are worried that if they were forced to leave or transferred to another airline, they would lose their seniority they had or receive pay cuts. Pilots are considered essential workers by the CARES Act, but some are worried about getting laid off after October the 1st. The pilots who fly for UPS or FedEx isn't facing as much trouble, however, since the demand for international cargo, care kits, testing kits, and airmail has dramatically increased. As well, some pilots only fly for charter or private jets. The demand for private aviation has increased significantly due to the fear for exposure or doctors that need to travel urgently. Airlines will reform as well. 3 months ago, Delta Airlines retired their McDonnell Douglas MD-80 series fleet, as well as their Boeing 777-200. Qantas, Royal Dutch Airways, and British Airways, 3 flag carrier airlines from Australia, Netherlands, and England, respectively, retired their 747 fleets. Since the production of the aircraft mentioned above have ended, airlines will likely use fewer variants of the aircraft. Although this is ultimately a measure to reduce costs, it is a shame for me since I will not be able to see more of the iconic classical jetliners. One of the only reasons, however, that companies reduce costs is they're not making as much money. This goes for any industry, including the aviation industry. The service and revenue method of airlines is a potential subject for change. There are two major types of service modes for airlines, and one is full service carrier, or FSC, and low cost carrier, LCC. FSCs focus mostly on business flyers and their in-flight experience by providing different in-flight amenities and high-quality services. All three major United States flag carriers are considered FSCs. LCCs, on the other hand, use a point-to-point network, providing flights with relatively low prices for the other passengers, such as travelers, offering more basic in-flight service. For example, Spirit and Southwest Airlines are examples of LCC in the United States. LCCs have recovered faster than the most FSCs. A comparison of seats sold from July 2020 with July 2019 shows the Spirit observing a 15% decrease and Southwest having a 30% decrease. For 2020, while major FSCs have a reduction at an average 59%. In the long run, the post-pandemic society gives LCCs an excellent chance for survival. An example, after years of massive profit, Ryanair, an LCC based in Ireland with €4 billion in cash, was not hamstrung by the pandemic at all. They are able to survive 18 months without any flights, just with their money. Many FSC airlines have also started offering low-cost programs, such as basic economy class. An additional difference between airlines is some airlines only service short-haul flights using smaller 50 or less jets or turboprops. These are called regional airlines. In the United States, regional airlines employ 13% of all full-time airline employees. The majority of the regional airlines sign contracts with network airlines and fly planes under their brand names, while some operate independently as well. Amongst the airlines, regional carriers suffered the most due to the pandemic. Trans-state airlines flying as United Express already suspended their operations in early April. ExpressJet, another United Express contractor, just announced that they would end their partnership with United Airlines by the end of 2020. They fly a total of 97 Embraer ERJ-145, a 50-seat regional jet for United. Their survival is in doubt since the sole partnership with any major network airline just ended. Many independent regional airlines face a similar fate. Raven Air, Alaska's largest regional carrier that employs 1,300 people and services to more than 100 Alaskan communities, suspended flights on all their 72 aircraft. The majority of their planes are 5 to 20-seat turboprops. Raven Air is an essential lifeline for Alaska, but the CEO of the airline mentioned that they could only receive $5.2 million of the $75 million federal stimulus package. Despite the current unfortunate situation for airlines, there is a better outlook for the future. Up to 1,500 pilots retired in 2019, and the number is continuously rising. Although none of the airlines are hiring pilots currently, airlines will undoubtedly need new, younger pilots to fill the retirement gap. Statistics from the 2003 SARS outbreak also show that after 7 to 8 months after the epidemic resolved, the number of travelers increased rapidly, up to 115% pre-crisis. It is good news for commercial pilots because the risk of being laid off is reduced. Overall, the airline industry will have a better future after the crisis. Despite being severely affected by the pandemic, the airline industry is still one of the fastest growing industries in the United States. Eventually, newer airlines will replace collapsed airlines, and employees laid off will be needed again. There is no doubt that with the changes for a safer flight, airlines will recover and do even better than before. That is my vision for the future of aviation. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy your ride on my talk, and thank you.